Welcome to Distorted Opinions. I'm Kayla, and as always, I'm with Matt and Ted. And before we get into today's show, I just wanted to quickly give a shout out to, I say the term long time, but we've only really been doing this for about a year, but I'm going to use the term because that's just how it goes. One of our longtime listeners, Tim, who has been following us since the beginning of the show. Tim has been calling us from time to time and leaving voicemail messages for us, and I know I, for one, appreciate his messages because...
Time after time.
We'll have could be our theme song for a segment if we get enough voicemail messages at some point.
So what she was trying to say is from time to time, Tim would send us messages, and we really appreciate that.
Am I still frozen? Uh-oh. Guys...
What our thoughts were for the Jaquetto picks now that we have received them, and we have received some picks and have all played them at this point, and going to be posting a video perhaps.
Yes,
I think
we will.
Matt and Kayla were recording a video.
By the time this drops, the videos will likely have been posted if we post them, but I know I'm doing a video, so
awesome.
That'll be
there. They did arrive. They are awesome. Very different than your average mass-produced Fender pick. It was. They're very, very neat. So thanks for the message, Tim. Yes, we will follow up on your voicemail, and stay tuned. You'll see that stuff coming real soon.
Wow. That's right.
Or maybe before this even comes out. Who knows?
Yeah, it'll probably be before this, but I really just, I don't know what happened there because you guys were still moving. Like, I was still moving, you guys were frozen, so I don't know, and then I got a thing that my internet was unstable. So hopefully that doesn't happen again during the show. But I really just wanted to give a shout out to Tim for supporting the show and leaving us voice messages and giving us fun challenges from time to time. We really appreciate that. Dude. So thank you, Tim, for the support and for the messages. And then now that we've gotten that out of the way, today's show, we're going to talk about memorable music videos. And I know when we were talking before we got started with the show, Matt had actually all of his videos, but there was one in particular that I don't know how I didn't think of this video because it truly is a memorable music video. I think everybody's seen it. I think it's been used as inspiration in a number of other videos
parodied
since then.
A number of different times.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that, why don't we start with you, Matt, and talk a little bit about the videos that you've picked out for this week.
Indeed. And, time after time. No, I'm not choosing Cyndi Lauper, even though that's a great song. Haven't really seen the music video, but I had to reference that. But in previous episodes, I was talking about how, growing up really wasn't that sports type of person, really all about music. And one of the things I absolutely loved doing was literally waking up, eating, showering, and then literally being in front of a television, watching MTV, VH1, MTV2, Fuse, all those types of music videos, and really getting to know, build that library of all different types of music and whatnot. So,
by the way, for the youngsters out there, MTV and VH1 used to play music videos. They don't anymore. So if you're wondering how it was that we watched music videos on MTV, that is what music television used to be. Just had to put that
television.
Out there. Yes.
Not reality television.
Yeah, not anymore. Now it's RTV.
Yep, those winners over at MTV, VH1. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Sorry, just wanted to make that known in case we have any young people that are younger than us watching this that are like, what do you mean you watched music videos?
They used to play music videos?
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
Surprised they haven't changed from MTV to RTV because literally it is all reality.
True.
They might as well.
But before MTV and VH1 sucked, they used to actually play a lot of, great music videos. There was actually a lot of great music video shows. One of the episodes we referenced in our podcast was we talked about Pop-Up Video from VH1. Video. Yep. Ted sang the theme of a classic episode.
And it was a cool show too because it would like literally pop up little facts about the video or the band on top of whatever that video was. And that was really, it was a neat rendition of for that particular show, because you get to, all the different videos that were being played at that time. You get to learn a little bit more than what was just presented on the video.
Right.
100%. 100%. And in today's episode, between the three of us, we're going to be talking about music videos that I'm sure you listeners have heard the song, but probably haven't listened to the video. So after listening to
the
this
video, even better.
Definitely after this, 100%. Check out the video after listening to all of our recommendations and whatnot. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. And the one thing I like doing is, if anything, when it comes down to music videos, I like to see the history behind it. So with songfacts.com, I'm definitely going to be referencing them a lot in my notes today. But the first note the first music video I'm going to talk about is Take On Me. Take On Me. Take On Me by the band Aha from the album Hunting High and Low, released in 1985. So a couple of things about this music video. It's badass. It is awesome. So it was created by Michael Patterson and his wife, Candace Reckinger. And if anyone has seen this music video, you've definitely heard the song. So this music video is that romantic story that's a mix between live action and pencil sketch animation. It starts off with with a woman that's flipping through a comic book. When the character reaches out to her, gets her attention, and pretty much pulls her in. And the comic book character later then attempts to join her in the real world, and then eventually does. Some facts behind this, which was actually just mind-blowing, especially with compared to today's technology now. Now, remind you, this is the 80s, okay? Technology back then, over 30 years ago, is now, it's completely changed. There was no YouTube. There was no Spotify. There wasn't even friggin' Napster, okay? They were still busting out, vinyls, they had tapes, and then they were just slowly introducing the CD, the compact disc, again, for those youngsters out there. But this, reading into the facts, did you know that this music video approximately had 3,000 pencil traced and free sketched frames needed for the video?
Yeah, they didn't have After Effects and that sort of stuff back then that would have done this stuff digitally. It was somebody hand drawing that stuff. It was absolutely crazy. So if we think about it, a ream of paper, let's say it's 500 sheets. Okay. It's 6 reams of paper just for this video. Boom. Okay. Like a flip book. It's absolutely crazy. So again, a little more history with this is that Aha recorded so there's 2 versions of the song in the video. So one, he recorded the first version back in 1982, and it was originally going to be titled Lesson 1. Had the exact same riff, totally different lyrics. It then eventually got the recognition of Warner Brothers Records, and then it was re-recorded again with different lyrics. Let's not talk about A&R reps. They probably had a little bit of a little touch point in that. And then it was recorded in 1984, the end of 1984, early 1985. This video was inspired by the transformation scene in the 1980s sci-fi flick Altered States. So if you watch the movie Altered States and then you watch this music video, you'll have that sense of, that's where the inspiration comes from. And then a little bit more history with this. So the woman that's actually in the video dated Morton Harkin, who's the actual lead singer of Aha. And eventually, after that whole music video was created, they actually became a couple for a few years. Eventually, after they broke up, she moved on to other music videos, in which you may also recognize her in a Billy Idol music video called Got to Be a Lover. So when watching this video and then going to watch the Billy Idol video, it's the exact same woman. So the woman's name is Bunty Bailey. So that was just really, that was just really interesting to hear the history behind that, because again, growing up and seeing this, hearing the song, and then watching the music video,
and trying to figure out, wow, how did they go through all that labor to make such a ironic,
the masterpiece of a video, especially for that era, 100%.
It's something that was never done before, and it's just it's how do you take animation in real life and blend it together? And this is that music video. So definitely is down. Has gone down in one of the greatest all-time music videos to history that we know of today. So that's Aha, Takes on Me. This next one, I'm probably gonna get half and half. Half people that are gonna say, "What the hell are you talking about, Matt?" And then the other half are gonna say, "Yep, I completely agree with you, Matt." But the song that I'm gonna be referencing, okay, that has a creepy ass music video.
Michael Jackson's Thriller.
No.
Sorry.
No. But that was a close.
I'm pretty sure everyone would just agree that was a great video. It's honorary mention. We're not actually. I'm not diving into it, but
I'm not either.
It is a great.
Sorry,
100%
completely derailed you.
And it's actually definitely a great. That's actually a good point. That's also another creepy video too, especially growing up again. I don't know, for some reason the 80s zombies are. I don't
70s,
know. 70s, 80s, like the zombies back then, werewolves were like all blown up, a little more creepy or whatnot. But maybe that's because the makeup was, it's not CGI. It's all actually like you really had to use their mind for that one, but creativity. But the song I'm going to be talking about in the music video I'm talking about is from the band Genesis. So Phil Collins, Land of Confusion, from the album Invisible Touch, released in 1986. Probably had a listener out there that probably said, "Oh yes," and then probably said, "Huh, where are you going with this, Matt?" So this video features Katakuri puppets that were from a British television show called Spitting Image that was created by Peter Fluck and Roger Law. This type of a song is a political song from Genesis, in which questions the wisdom of world leaders at the time when the US and Russia were enemies, and there was also a threat of nuclear war. How ironic. The video was produced by Paul Flattery, and also directed by Jim Yukish, in which Yukish got the inspiration from seeing a parody of Phil Collins on the British show. So if anyone knows what I'm probably gonna mess this up and whatnot. I was having trouble trying to pronounce this throughout the whole day for this episode, but caricature puppets. If anyone knows what caricature, caricature. Yes,
there we go.
Musician, not English guy. If anyone knows what those types of puppets are, okay, imagine it's like a morphed image of like a person. So they could have a big forehead,
accentuate a feature.
Yeah,
it's a very, very weird, creepy feature or whatnot.
Yeah, but I've definitely seen this video. I forgot about this video.
I remember seeing it
pretty early and being moderately terrified.
Oh,
because
okay.
those
Thank you.
Pretty outlandish. They all have the clip on the YouTube video, they're all wearing like glasses or whatnot, but like one has like jawline, like just like way down, from the chin, it goes straight almost, and then it curves right back in up towards the nose. And
it's very
looks like
creepy.
They have like real hair. Like it's terrifying to an extent.
Exactly.
I haven't seen it. I gotta see this.
Okay, so I may recommend, Kayla, that you watch it during the daytime, unless you want to go ahead and watch it after this episode. Okay,
I'll probably watch it when I'm editing at midnight.
Yeah.
I mean, the song's great. Don't get me wrong, but the music video is just it's. Oh God! And what's fun?
Yeah.
It's creepy as hell. And what's funny about this is that this video wasn't supposed to be how it was, and it only came to be as it is because Phil Collins saw a parody of himself as a puppet on this British show called Spitting Image. So he came back and said, "Hey, I think I kind of want to have this music video with this type of song, using that." Puppet that using the creative artist that did use this for the show. And ironically, guys, this video won in 1987 won a Grammy in 1987 for the best concept music video, and it was the only Grammy that Genesis has ever won in their whole career.
Well, it's worthy and notable, hands down. I know
100%.
we're freaking out over the puppets, but I think the puppets are the part that really put that video on the map, because it is pretty unique for sure.
It's and the song was nominated for in 6 categories, and this was the only one that it won. It lost out to Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel back in 1987, which is also another great song and whatnot. Yeah. But so that's the second song, Land of Confusion by Genesis. And third, Ted, you and I know this. Kayla, you and I know this. The world, we all know this. I'm talking about Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit from the album Nevermind, released in 1991. This music video, think about, all right, so we got youngsters out there listening. All right, if you're around our age, let's go back to when we were in high school. This music video was pretty much the concept of a pep rally from hell. Okay. It was shot in Culver City Studios in California in August 17, 1991. It was directed by Samuel Bayer, and it was actually performed at the high school pep rally where the cheerleaders had Circle A Anarchy symbols on their chest. It was literally the epitome of the grunge rock rebel phase. When we think of Nirvana, we definitely think of that punk, that grunge, that, hey, mom, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do. And Dad, I don't know what the hell to tell you. But this music video, it took more than 12 hours, and they actually had to get some extras ordered for the set. And literally all their job was to sit in the bleachers and looked bored while the song played over and over and over again.
I mean, no wonder. I mean, it makes sense. They were going to listen to the same song for 12 hours. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
you'll see in the background, just kind of kids are like, huh? Like, are we done yet? And of course, you have everyone else that's rocking out, headbanging. You know,
maybe that was part of the mindset to get them in of being extra bored.
Very true. I mean, I'll tell you. I mean, looking back now, if I knew how big Nirvana was going to be back then, hell, I would have gladly been a part to sit there, you know, bored as hell for 12 hours.
Maybe you never need to buy the album. That song's already in your brain.
100%. So a little more into this music video went up, but the video was actually inspired by a movie and rock song, Rock and Roll High School by the Ramones. It was also influenced by a 1979 movie called Over the Edge, which was actually a favorite of Kurt's back then. A little bit of history. So a lot of, and I'm sure that there's always that one person out there. I definitely was one of them. What is Smells Like Teen Spirit? I didn't even realize Teen Spirit even had a smell. Okay, so a little like concept.
Axe body spray. And
I mean, we could think about it. Yeah, it's probably
sweat or
body odor.
Yeah. That's the way I always interpreted that. I'm like, just, yeah.
See, smells like Teen Spirit, baby.
It's probably trademarked. I'm sure they couldn't even use that as a marketing tool for like a deodorant company or something. But.
So when they were concepting this video, and also the song at the same time, Kurt was actually mentioned to say, hey, you know what? I kind of just want to write an ultimate pop song, which is weird because obviously it didn't work for him. It made it better for him. And he was pretty much kind of wanting to say, hey, I just kind of want to rip off the Pixies. So Kathleen Hannah, a name that may not sound familiar, was the lead singer of Bikini Kill back then. Okay, she gave the idea to Kurt for the title of Smells Like Teen Spirit when she spray painted Kurt Smells Like Teen Spirit in his bedroom wall after a night of drinking and spraying graffiti around the Seattle area. In one of our episodes, we definitely had a special with our with one of our guests, Paul, that was talking about the grunge area in the Seattle area and whatnot. So I'm sure that, you know, he would definitely be able to relate to talk about more about that specific timeline as well. But Teen Spirit is actually a brand of deodorant marketed to young girls. So how funny is that? Is that we have a popular song.
I was just kidding on the deodorant end, but
it literally is.
It was a thing.
It literally was one. And so it's just ironic. Like a song, so pretty much the song's about deodorant, but it's again goes down in one of the
hashtag ad.
Yeah.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Enough for us.
Smells like
Maybe
Teen
for them.
Spirit, baby. And then finally, what's also unique about this music video is that we've all heard of this character, Weird Al Yankovic. He did a parody of the song called "Smells Like Nirvana." Shot a video for his parody song in the same gym that they did for Smells Like Teen Spirit. So when you do compare and contrast, you'll notice that the scenery looks the same or similar. It's because it is the same. He even shot in, the only difference with him was that while obviously it's a parody song, he used the same janitor that was in Smells Like Teen Spirit for Smells Like Nirvana.
That's funny. I always thought that it was a bit of movie magic because I thought that video, while it looked the same, I didn't think it was actually going to be the same place.
100%. And finally, just the last fact with this music video. So back then, again, when MTV was great, MTV actually had filters. And how could you say that? I mean, obviously they don't have filters now, but they actually had filters because they were very wary about music videos back then. Okay, how is the audience going to be receptive to it? So in the beginning, again, when we think about Smells Like Teen Spirit, we're thinking about the whole grunge rock, the rebel phase. How would the young audience adapt to this type of reception? So MTV refused the video at first, and then only got popularity when Nirvana actually had an alternative show called 120 Minutes. After that, when it was posted, or did go viral, the song became a hit. Then all of a sudden it started becoming an instant hot rotation on MTV right afterwards. So it goes to show that even the perception of what leadership may say back then of how it's going to be receptive brings history into the books when it comes down to music. And next thing you know, we have Smells Like Teen Spirit that every band I'm sure has ever covered, when they first started out a band, because it's one of those classic tunes that it's badass.
Gotta play it.
Yep.
For sure.
Very much so. So those are the three tunes, whatnot.
Nice.
So I know that was a little long-winded one, but Ted, what do you got?
So I was going to say, to jump in on your MTV train, there are two videos I would love to take a deeper dive in and then put a couple of honorary mentions in. Actually, I'll back up. Beastie Boys.
Ooh, which one?
So I revisited Sabotage.
Yes.
Because I remember Sabotage.
Yeah.
All over MTV. It was super catchy, and in an era where you're still, it really wasn't internet or YouTube or any of that. You're watching MTV and you're seeing what's current music and all of that, and then going to the CD store to buy the album and get the rest of it. So 1994, Beastie Boys' Sabotage came out, and it was played extensively on MTV. And if you haven't seen the video, it is over the top, like Starsky and Hutch, police running, excessive amounts of running in that video, excessive amounts of jumping over like building rooftop to rooftop, parkouring, like in a sense, and they're just like moderately jumping a Ford Crown Victoria over like this ridge a few times in the video, same clip. Because why not? And so it's a parody, as mentioned, in fake mustaches and whatnot, of a crime drama show, of a few crime drama shows: Hawaii Five-0, Streets of San Francisco, SWAT, and I mentioned Starsky and Hutch. And the video is presented in the beginning as a fictional police style show, and it's obviously titled Sabotage, and the band members are the show's protagonists. So at a certain point in the video, it'll just stop on one particular band member, and it has like their name and playing as whatever their character name is, and it's just outlandish and it's funny, but this music's so good, so it's just very catchy and notable. And so Sabotage was nominated for Video of the Year, Best Group Video, Breakthrough Video, Best Direction in a Video, and Viewer's Choice at the 1994 MTV VMAs. However, it lost all 5 categories.
Oh,
It lost Video of the Year, Best Group Video, and Viewer's Choice to Aerosmith's Cryin'. And it lost Breakthrough Video and Best Direction in a Video to REM's Everybody Hurts.
oh, I would argue the shit out of that.
So, during that award show in 1994, while REM singer Michael Stipe,
Stipe, I think.
Stipe.
During his acceptance speech for the Best Direction Award, Beastie Boys member MCA rushed the stage in his character's disguise from that particular video and interrupted him and shout out in protest that Sabotage should have won. It's kind of like the Kanye. Like,
I was just saying, Kanye.
I'm about to let you finish, but but this happened for 1994 and
Right.
Beastie Boys. So that one, great video. Second good, while we're on the Beastie Boys topic, Intergalactic.
Oh yes,
That video
Another
is so
good one.
hilarious. It's based in Japan, and they wrote this massive robot spaceship thing crashes on Earth, and it starts fighting like this other villain creature, and they're taller than buildings, and they're just battling each other out, and very much in the the Godzilla style film thing, or if you want to reference Power Rangers, obviously still based on Japanese film. And so that whole setup of the video is awesome. Great direction on that. Very notable. However, need to shift gears. One of my favorite music videos of all time, Korn's Freak on a Leash. Because it broke my brain for a video. And and Take On Me was great. The Freak on a Leash video starts out as cartoon, and again, it goes from the cartoon into reality. And the video starts out as a bunch of kids rushing through this fence that's all gated off, and there's hopscotch on the ground, and it's over this ledge, and the kids are congregate around that, and this girl's going to do hopscotch, and she's getting towards the edge, and this police officer that runs to try to stop the kids from playing gets tripped. His gun comes out. Why he has a gun? To break up kids from off a lit, whatever. Not political. And even for 1998, by the way. And the gun goes off, and the bullet is shot, and it projects through, and it's coming out of a cartoon comic book. And then the bullet just goes flying through the air, and it's like blowing up a lava lamp. It's blowing through a kitchen in a restaurant, and it's blowing through a water cooler in an office space, and it keeps on flying, and the music's playing. It's great. And then the bullet gets to where the band is, or it goes through a band poster where the band is performing, and they're in this space where it's black background, bunch of holes in the paper, and it's all light coming through, and then they're the band's getting ready for the breakdown. So it's a nice build up, and the bullet's just kind of flying around the band like a bee. And then the lead singer goes, the point where it builds up, and he's just like, go. And then the band just starts going crazy, but that sends the bullet back in the other direction where it came. It goes back to the kid, back through the comic book to the girl, and it stops right in front of the girl's face. She holds out her hand, bullet lands in her hand, and she drops it at in front of the police officer, and the kids run away. And the cops is standing there like, what the heck just happened? And in my brain, what the heck just happened? It's like, how did you film this? Like, so awesome. The video, I love the song. The song sells it. But the video, it's like Matrix style, awesome. Big fan. If you can't tell, I'm a big fan. So anyway, this music video debuted number 8 on MTV's TRL in 1999, and it peaked at #1 on its 13th day. So it was very popular. It won the Grammy Award for Best Short Form Music Video and the 1999 Metal Edge Reader's Choice Award for Video of the Year. And it was also nominated for 9 MTV Music Awards, including Best Direction. And it did win Best Rock Video and Best Editing. So, hands down.
Good.
It well deserved. If you haven't seen the video
100%.
or if you forgot about that video, please go watch it. So awesome. And then 2 others, just honorable mention. The Go With The Flow by Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh, good.
If you haven't seen that video, pretty awesome.
Like a silhouette video.
It's basically like the movie Sin City in terms of animation. It's black, white, and red. Very high contrast. Very, very cool. Fun fact, that song came out in 2003. Sin City, the film, came out in 2005. So they didn't copy anybody. Sin City seemed to have copied Queens of the Stone Age.
Interesting.
In that art style. Maybe it was popular or mid 2000s, right? But that was really cool video. And then one other one that I came across that I had to get a good chuckle at as the Foo Fighters Learn to Fly.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you haven't
It's all
seen that
Dave
video,
Grohl, right?
What's that?
It's all Dave Grohl playing all the parts, right?
It is, but it has Tenacious D, Jack Black, and Kyle Gass as like people trying to smuggle drugs on this airplane.
Right.
And Dave Grohl is all the characters on the plane basically, including the pilot and passengers and Fat Suit and all of this. And they smuggle drugs, but the drugs get into the coffee and they're passing around everything, and people just start going on a trip. And but Dave Grohl and the band were drinking like whiskey or whatever, so they didn't drink the coffee, and then they had to be the ones to save the day and land the plane.
They had to learn to fly.
They had to learn to fly. But that video was really funny. So another honorable mention. But with that, those are my picks.
Classic.
Yeah. So awesome. Kayla, what are your picks for this week?
All right. Well, we've talked about MTV back in the day when MTV used to play music, and I do just want to mention for the youngsters who maybe have not seen MTV in an era of music videos, when Ted said TRL, that's Total Request Live, and people used to be able to actually call in and request certain videos to be played.
Yep. Hosted by Carson Daly.
That's right. Totally unheard of right now. So another show they had on MTV was Making the Video, and this was on from 1999 to 2009. And I vaguely remember seeing a Making the Video episode on this first video that's on my list, but I couldn't find it when I was looking online. I only found it would have been more like a news snippet about it, but they called it a Making the Video. But anyway, my first video on my list is Metallica's The Memory Remains, which came out in 1997. And at that point in my life, I wasn't thinking about getting into video. Video wasn't really a thing that I really knew much about. And so, I look at it now from a different perspective that I did then. But even then, that video to me was like, I thought it was the coolest thing. And if you haven't seen it, I actually learned quite a few more facts about it through Pop-Up Video. Apparently had done a pop-up video with this particular song, and I learned a whole bunch of stuff I didn't know. But the video is the band basically standing on this big platform that's like a swing, and it looks like they are rotating around the room. But what it really is the platform is stationary and this room spun around them. So they created this set within this room, and it took them 2 days to film this video. And so you've got all the band members, apparently pretty much everybody in the band before they filmed this video took like Dramamine or something in order to help them with motion sickness, because they were in this room for 2 days with this room just spinning around them. And apparently Lars was the only one in the band that opted not to take anything because he thought he'd be fine, but I guess he wasn't. At one point he did kind of like freak out a little bit because it got to be a bit too much. Also, James is wearing sunglasses throughout the whole thing, which I always thought he just chose to do because he thought it looked cool, but apparently it was really because even having taken Dramamine, he still was having a hard time with the room spinning around him and apparently had to keep his eyes closed throughout most of shooting that video. So
I mean, I don't
the
blame
sunglasses
him.
are to hide it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have probably, I mean, I think that's probably too much for anyone, 2 days of being in a room that's spinning around you.
Kind of reminds me of the Houdini ride at Six Flags.
Oh, I've never been on that.
Yeah, the Matterhorn at Canopy Lake.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
Interesting.
spinning. It's a lot of spinning.
Yeah. Okay.
Not good.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
it's
for me.
probably, I don't think it was a high rate of speed, but certainly anytime you've got something that's spinning around you like that, I got to imagine that it's a little bit nauseating after a certain point. So it was either, so they filmed most of the video in that room, but then they also had another room that was not a spinning room. It was stationary, but I guess the floor was built at a slant. So looking at the video as a person who looks at videos from a videography perspective, I would have just thought, okay, they shot this with a really wide angle lens, but apparently also because the floor was slanted, the band members were all tethered to wires so they could lean into the camera and not fall forward. So it's a wide lens and they're tethered and it just gives it a really kind of cartoonish look. So, you've got those two things happening, but then you've also got Marianne Faithfull, who was featured on this song. And according to the pop-up video, the band decided they wanted to work with a female vocalist, and they chose Marianne based off of two main characteristics, which were that she was charismatic and weathered. And I'm not sure. I'm not really sure that if there's a woman in particular that you want to be described as weathered, but that's how they described her in the pop-up video. Maybe that's not. Maybe those aren't the terms the band used. I don't know, but
Pretty sure if she ever saw that review, it'd be absolutely mortifying. Oof.
Potentially,
I'm just done up for it. Just for the video.
Just try your best.
Yeah.
You look a little weathered.
I mean,
Oh, no.
if you've heard the song, her vocals are not the type of vocals that if that was my only experience with Marianne Faithfull, and quite honestly, it is really the only thing I know about Marianne Faithfull, I'm not sure that I would listen to anything she were to sing independently, just because it's not like I don't know how to describe her vocals. You've probably heard the song, but if you haven't, you really just have to hear the song to understand it. And so, like, apparently she's got a history. I guess she was well known in the 60s. And so there are homages to her past. They describe it as a swinging lifestyle throughout the 60s. That if you watch the video, like, there's a bearskin rug on the wall in that spinning room, her attire, even the cross-dissolved transitions on all of her scenes are supposed to be a reference to her at one point being really popular and then kind of fading out into the sunset, so to speak. The whole song is supposed to be about somebody who was really popular and now is no longer popular and dealing with, the loss of fame, I guess. So, she was an interesting addition to that song, but the video also, they're kind of like tributes to her history. And I guess the bearskin rug is somehow tied into a nude photo shoot she did where she's wearing nothing but a fur shawl or something. I don't know. Again, the pop-up videos where I learned this stuff because I had no idea. There was also that spinning room set. Apparently they had to stop filming at one point because somebody had left a pen cap somewhere, and when the room was spinning, the cap was kind of flying around, which was a hazard. So they had to stop and remove that. But I guess this video actually went over budget, and they, like I said, had filmed it for 2 days, and the director actually paid for the final hour of filming because he wanted to film that final scene of Marianne in the spinning room with the money flying all around her, and apparently that was important enough to him that he was willing to pay whatever it cost to do that additional hour of filming. But it's just, I know that, and we've talked about this, I know this era of Metallica is not everybody's cup of tea, but that video to me has always just been one that I've remembered because it's such a cool video, and that concept of the spinning room, I don't think I've seen that anywhere else, and I'm sure it probably has been used in other instances. I just have not personally seen any of those to be able to talk about them, but it's a really cool video, and the fact that they decided to do a video in that way, it's always just been something that stuck with me. So that's the first video that's on my list. The second video, and you know, we touched on this a little bit, but the way that people view music videos now is very different than the way people used to view music videos, which was watching them on MTV, VH1, Fuse, these different channels that had music videos. Now, a lot of bands, you view music videos on YouTube or social media, and
that's how I discover all my new bands. Typically,
right, yep.
If you make a video for it, chances are it's going to come up in my YouTube feed, and I will
suggested
probably
video.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it definitely changes the path and changes the importance of what a video does, but
right,
we get into that in a little bit.
Right.
But
yeah. So, I mean, the evolution of music videos it's really come a long way. And there were music videos even before MTV, but they were largely live performances of bands. I don't think they were really done in now it's
artistic
more of a
way,
kind of
yeah.
cinematic manner. So, you know, this one that's next on my list is actually a more recent video for an older song, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because I did talk, I think, about it just briefly during our episode with Carrie during part 2 for my Song of the Week pick. Rush's Spirit of the Radio off of Permanent Waves. That song obviously did not come out recently, but they released an animated video for it in June of 2020, and the song was inspired by Toronto's CFNY FM, and their slogan was the spirit of the radio. This was the station in the band's hometown. Geddy Lee has talked in interviews about how one of the things he looked forward to about going home was listening to that station because it to him still embodied the spirit of the radio and what FM radio was and rock radio in particular. So this video has a lot of tributes to not only the personalities at that radio station, but, you know, other people who were integral in the band's career and their rise to fame. And then there's also a really nice tribute at the end of the video to Neil Peart, who we talked about, passed away in January of 2020. And if you're a Rush fan and you saw that video, I'm sure that part at the end in particular probably tugged at your heartstrings a bit because they just have this clip. It's still part of the animation, but it's just Neil's kit empty.
Yep.
So it's a cool video. I really like what they did with it. The animations are really well done. As a side note, something that when I was looking up the notes for the show blew my mind, and this is probably not going to mean as much to other people as it does to me, but for those who don't know, I am a ham radio operator. I come from a long line of ham radio operators, and I am the vice president of a local club. And usually every month we have a guest speaker that talks to the club. Right now, obviously, the meetings are being done via Zoom. But I was watching the video again a few nights ago to write my notes for the show, and the last person who pops up when they're showing the different radio personalities from CFNY is a woman holding on to one of the Rush albums, and the name pops up and it said Donna Halper. And I'm like, wait a minute. So a couple of months ago, our president of our ham radio club had Donna Halper come speak to us about, because Donna Halper is a Boston-based radio historian and radio consultant. So we had her talk to the club about the history of radio in Boston and the history of WBZ and BCN and a lot of the stations that got started here way back in the day. And I'm like, I saw the name come up and I'm like, Donna Halper, that can't be the same Donna Halper. Well, I go
apparently
look
it
up
was.
Donna Halper, and right in the first paragraph of the information about her on Wikipedia, it says that she was credited with discovering Rush while at WMMS in Cleveland in 1974. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
This woman just came and talked to our club. I had no idea that this woman was a big part of helping the band get their rise to fame. Absolutely mind blown. Like literally at 11 p.m. hands slammed on the desk. I was like, what?
Not only that, but also a piece of music history.
Yeah.
Because, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was mind blown when I realized it was the same Donna Halper. I mean, not
I think
that
it's awesome that you knew the reference. Like, I mean, obviously with through the him thing, but just having that name of like, wait a minute, I know that name.
And I've seen the video before too. And but the thing is, like, I saw the video when it came out last summer.
That's true.
It didn't register with me. And then, I know around here, I know Donna is a big deal because of how involved she is in archiving the history of radio stations in this area. But it didn't register with me until I saw the video again. And then I was like, wait a minute, that name looks really familiar. And then I had to look it up. And then I was just, literally hands slammed down on the desk. I'm surprised. If anybody had been around, they probably would have wondered what was wrong with me, because literally it was like, what? Like I screamed. So yes,
almost like you found a mouse.
Yeah, no, I scream a little differently when I find a mouse. Trust me, there's been a mouse in this house, and I have freaked out just a little bit. But yeah. So anyway, just something that I wanted to mention that was kind of a cool side note that I discovered as I was watching the video and looking up my notes. So again, a newer video, but one that I felt was worth mentioning because it is really well done. And I think, especially Rush fans in particular, when that came out, that was widely circulated and very different from the era of when the Metallica video came out, because now we're talking like, again, people are finding their music videos online on social media and on YouTube, whereas back when that video for Memory Remains came out, you were watching it on MTV or VH1, and that was really it. The internet was not, there was no YouTube. That wasn't a place where you went and watched a music video. Again, if you wanted to see that music video,
you had to wait for it to come back on the rotation, or wait till tomorrow and pray that somebody voted for it for TRL.
Record it on your VHS tape
or record
and
it on a
watch it
VHS
again
tape,
later.
right.
Yeah.
Or have the ability to cross fingers that if you watched Beavis and Butthead, you might watch the same music video, because Beavis and Butthead was infamous for reviewing music videos during the show.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I think, did we talk about Beavis and Butthead in that first, I think it was like our second episode where we talked about music shows. And I think we talked briefly about it. I don't know how much time we spent on it, but yeah, that was another way that you saw music videos. And again, that was on MTV. So while not directly a music video, it was still a music themed show that still had music videos as part of the program. And there's not much of that now on MTV. Even
I don't even think there is any
Classic, but I don't even think VH1 Classic is playing music videos. I don't know what they're playing over there, like maybe music themed movies and stuff. I have no idea. But anyway, I do have another video that's my If There's Time video, and I'm wondering if I should save this because we are up against the clock and we have to do Song of the Week still.
Well, you can't not bring. Now you have to just.
Now you have
to say it. Now what is it?
Don't be a cliffhanger.
Well, I'm also trying not to make this, because this podcast isn't about Metallica, it's about music in general, and so I'm trying not to make my references all Metallica related, but I do feel like this video is one that was a huge deal when it came out, and that's the video for One off of 1989's Injustice for All.
I was just about to reference a joke, be like, hey, was it one? You emphasized actually, one in your sentence just a little, like... It
was a little hint.
Yes, it was one. And this was, so not only was it the first video for the band, but it was
nothing else matters, just one.
But
oh no.
Okay, I'm done.
They did have some videos for some songs off the Black Album though that are also memorable, but I'm not going to get into them because I could be here all day talking about the music videos for Metallica songs. And again, this isn't a Metallica podcast. This is a general music podcast. But yeah, so this was the first music video that the band ever put out. And it was also still kind of early in that era of MTV and music videos. But the song itself is an anti-war song, and the video portrays a soldier who's severely wounded by a landmine. He's lost his legs and arms. He's blind. He's unable to speak, and he's begging for God to take his life throughout the whole video. He's actually spelling "kill me" in Morse code in the hospital bed. Really kind of a
Dark
video. It's the video of the footage of the band is shot in black and white. The video of the scenes with the soldier are actually from Johnny Got His Gun. The band bought the rights to the film in order to use the clips. And the video was ranked #1 on MTV soon after its release. The song won a Grammy for Best Metal Performance a year later. And if I recall, the video was up for an award the year it released, but lost in the Best Metal category to Jethro Tull. And there was a whole lot of controversy about that because Jethro Tull, like, not really a metal band by definition. And that, I think, is also a big part of the reason why the song probably won the Grammy the following year. I think MTV probably, or not MTV, but the Grammys probably got
said whoops
some major crap for the fact that Jethro Tull outdid or beat out Metallica in the metal category for music videos. But again, it's really one of those videos that stands out in my mind. Forget about the fact that it's Metallica, and I'm a big Metallica fan. I think this is just a video that if you talk to anybody who was around in that time period, and I was not old enough in that time period to have seen that video or respected what was going on with that video, but I would imagine that anybody who would probably tell you that this is a video they remember when it came out. They remember seeing it on MTV and VH1. I think there were 3 different versions of it that varied in length, and one of them was a little bit more movie-like. There were, I think, more clips from the movie in it, and then there was the standard version that got played on MTV, and then there was a shortened version. But in general, this video, very memorable, especially from that time period. So there's my If There's Time music video. That is all the videos I have on my lists. So do you guys have anything else? Do we want to go into the song of the week?
I do have a question, though, because we hinted at it.
Right.
And, you know, with the different era of the internet and ways we can find music and, you know, Spotify recommendations, and, you know, there's other ways, Pandora, you know, name your streaming service. And this is, you know, you request one song that you like, and then the system's in the background thinking, I'm like, all right, well, if you like this, you're going to like this. And that's how you, I feel like a lot of times nowadays people discover new bands and new music. And so with that being said, what makes a band want to put out a music video? What is the point? It's not necessarily MTV for general airtime in the era of smart algorithm, you know, recommendations. You know, obviously we referenced YouTube, works for me, but not all bands need to make music videos, though they still do. Is it fan service? Is it a way to be discovered because it's a still representation of, you know, that particular album or hit song or whatever it happens to be? Or is it just meant to, and I'm not even saying all music videos do this, but I feel like there is, depending on the genre, certain videos that are just made to be controversial so it gets popularity. And I'm not saying all bands are doing that, because there's plenty of music videos that are just, we see them, great, the song's good, we're not talking about them. It's not to like WAP or, you know, ridiculous, you know, over the top, you know, videos that'll gain, you know, a frenzy in the mainstream. You know, so with that, and especially, and I'm, as mentioned, as you know, in the rock genre, unless you're really pushing the envelope or bending the curve on what a video can do or something extra artistic, is it just meant to be for self-discovery? Is it supposed to be like a mark on time of this is where we are right now? Or is it fan service? What do you guys think?
I think there's a combination of things happening there. And so I had in my notes, and I forgot to mention it, but it seems to me like the other thing you see a lot of now too is where a band back in the MTV era would maybe put out 1 or 2 videos per an album release. It seems to me, and maybe this is just the bands that I've been listening to and watching videos from, but it seems like they are putting out more videos per album. Like, I feel like there's some bands I follow that it seems as though they're putting out a video for almost every song on the album, and I don't know if that's the cost of video production being lower than what it was in the era of MTV, or if it's that they're doing kind of more simplified stuff than some of those videos because they can put it on YouTube and they aren't necessarily having to pay the production cost. I think,
and a distribution too, I suppose.
Right,
that's a good point.
Because that's free. Yeah. But I think to your point about like why, if there are things like Spotify, I think it is maybe some of that connection with the audience, because you're actually, in a lot of cases, not all, but in a lot, I think this is, you're seeing the band perform these songs at least at some points throughout a lot of these videos. So it's also kind of a way to see the band, whereas listening to the song, you're just hearing it. It's a little bit different, but also you're talking different platforms, and the way that content reaches people is also different. And this could lead me into a totally different conversation about social media and algorithms and that stuff. But, you know, the way people discover those things, I mean, you said it yourself at the beginning of this, that a lot of the bands you've discovered recently, you've discovered because you're watching something on YouTube, and then YouTube suggests this video from this next band.
I'm also an old man when it comes to finding music, because I'm an old, I don't use all the platforms to discover new music as I should. So I feel a bit out of the loop in a sense of the way I discover music as other ways that I know are plenty of, readily available.
You're one person, and that's how you're discovering it. So other people are maybe discovering it another way, but obviously they've reached one new person through having videos available on YouTube for people like you to find. And that's great. That's why I'm sure bands are using a bunch of different avenues. They've got Spotify, they're on the radio, they're on satellite radio, they've got Bandcamp platforms, they've got social media platforms. All of those different avenues are reaching different people depending on who's on those platforms. So as a whole, they're getting a bigger audience. It's just a matter of which people they're getting off of those different. So
that's a fair assessment.
So and it's perfect to say that. It really is a great question. And as a songwriter myself, having a couple albums out there, one of the things I always think in the back of my mind is, Ted, that question of like, hey, how do I go ahead and project my listeners toward my craft of music? In that's where Kayla jumps in and says, there's all those different types of avenues. I think it also depends on how the artist or the band wants to go ahead and sell themselves. There are people out there that are very visual versus listening. Kind of a little similarity to, would you read a book based on it? Would you read a book, or would you go watch the movie that's based on the book? Again, having that different type of perception as far as that attention grab. Now, I'm not one to go ahead and say I made a music video, but has the thought crossed my mind about maybe a song that I wrote on my debut album? Yeah, there has. But then there's the resources behind it. And I think now with today's technology, especially, for those that, the music studios are slowly taking a hit, because there's a lot of music production software out there. There's a lot of, now we have YouTube that can teach you pretty much how to write a song. that's how I did it. That's how I managed to write my album. Okay, not going to spending thousands of dollars, but do I have thousands of hours behind of labor practicing and understanding how Pro Tools works? How does an interface work? How does a compressor work? How do you master something? How do you convert something? Yeah, it all differentiates. So I think with music videos, kind of same thing. You may have film majors out there that just want a portfolio and may say, hey, I kind of need to build portfolio. You're a band, you got kind of want to collaborate, and for $100, okay, I can make a music video for you. Versus first off, trying to find the right source. Number two, trying to go ahead and paying the monies toward it. And number three, distribution of that video. And side note, probably the licensing behind that video to go ahead and distribute it. Now we're talking about royalties. Okay, does the video production people get a cut of that royalty? So it all really differentiates. But I think probably just a educated guess, not only from a listener's point of view, but also as a musician standpoint, that there's a lot of avenues that are available today versus back then, where it was, I hate to say it, but talent was based off of playing a show, and there's an agent out there that says you're really great, and guess what? That's how we had great music now. It was not pay, and again, I could probably get distorted opinions on this one, but today's music is way different. Today's music is, hey, if you're known and you have money behind it, yeah, sure, we'll make you a rock star, whatever the hell you want to be, as long as you get the dough behind it. While as then it was playing a show at Ralph's Diner in Worcester, and next thing you know, it's like, hey, I'm Joe Smith from Virgin Records. Hey, I really like you guys. Let's talk more. Expecting the unexpected.
Yeah, I definitely understand the ease, and for even some of the other bands that we've referenced in prior episodes and things like that, and we talked about even in the international music episode, discovering some of those bands, obviously referenced the music video in describing that band, and how that drew me in, and I think for to your point, yes, there is, if you're pushing the envelope, you do have great visuals. It's a great way to get a vision into the band, see the band, know what they're about, figure them out in a particular way. And but yeah, not all music videos are the same. But again, right. Matt, to your point, production cost is down. Easy to film if you're in a room and you're just the band's playing and you're just in a room. There's plenty of videos like that too, and that's super low budget, right? So
very much so. And I think that kind of goes to what Kayla was mentioning about with now today's music videos. We're seeing a lot more music videos where before it used to be one or two, max of about maybe 3 per album. Now you pretty much almost see a music video 5 or 6 times for an album, probably because of budget, because maybe someone in the band has a filmography, history or major behind that could say, hey, instead of having the studio do it, why don't we do it?
Definitely doable.
Prime example would be Blink-182 song "Man Overboard." Literally, it's them talking to a camera and says, we have a bank check right here. We're going to go spend it, and we're just going to blow it all away. And it's literally a video camera of them taking all this money. Literally, they gave a homeless guy, a haircut, gave him money, gave him food. Then they bought all these skateboards. They threw money outside. Like, it's all in the other music. And also part of the music video is them being in like a confined area that's like padding, and just one camera in the corner, and it's just fish-eyeing them. That's all it is. So again, something that's budgetary. And I think they even made a joke saying, we're gonna spend this is our money from the music video, and we're gonna go spend it.
So everything else.
Yep.
Nice.
So
yeah. So with that, I think we're ready to tee up song of the week.
Song of the week. Not official jingle.
Right. So I'll start off. My song pick is also great music video, actually funny. And the band is called Necrogoblicon. The song is called No One Survives. And if you're not familiar with the band Necrogoblicon, it is the goblin character is a real person in a goblin suit, and that's the mascot of the band. And this particular video is the goblin wakes up, regular 9-to-5 job. Everyone else is normal. Just the goblin suit, and he's just like, I'm late for work. He's sitting in traffic. He's angry. Goes to the sales meeting, and then like this really stud dude, starts swooning this cute girl in the office, and the goblin has a crush on the girl, and they're trying to compete. They both get invited to this like birthday outing at a bar, and chaos ensues. And there's some drug usage in the video because the goblin has, just balances himself out. And I won't. The rest of the video is good and very well done. And the thanks to that video, that's how I discovered the band. They have other great songs too. But that's going to be my pick for this week. Necrogoblicon, No One Survives.
Necrogoblicon.
Yeah.
It sounds like a badass name.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Okay, what do you have?
All right. So before I get into my song of the week, just a reminder, as always, we have a Spotify Song of the Week playlist that we put the link to in the description of every episode. So if you want to hear any of the songs that we're talking about today in their entirety, or if you want to hear any of our previous picks, you can find those in our Song of the Week playlist. Link in description.
It is growing.
It is. I don't know what we're up to now for a number of songs, but a few weeks ago we had, a lot. We had a lot, and it's eclectic. Enough for a short road trip to cover you with an eclectic list of songs. So definitely check it out. With that, my pick for this week, like Ted, I picked a song that we did not talk about in this episode, the video for this song, but it is a cool video, and that is a track by the UK band Young Guns called Bones off the album Bones, which came out in 2012. This is one of my favorite songs by Young Guns. They have a lot of other really great songs too, but they're one of those bands that we were talking about that I feel like they seem to put a lot of music videos out. There are a lot of music videos for them for all of their albums. And actually, I had heard the song first. I think I actually heard it on SiriusXM Octane back in the day, but I don't remember for sure. And then I got curious about the band and started looking them up and found the video, which turned out to be really awesome. But it's also a fun song to play on guitar. I think it's in drop B, so I don't play it very often because I don't put any of my guitars in that kind of tuning ever because they're not set up for it. I don't have real heavy strings on them. But apparently, as it turns out, this song was actually recorded on a custom Fender Jaguar baritone, which I also don't own a baritone. So that right there is like a no-go, but it's a fun song to play. It was their first single that was released in the US, and I think it has some pretty powerful lyrics. At one point, he says, "We're all architects of our own private hell. No one can hurt us like we hurt ourselves." That's pretty deep, in my opinion.
Deep words,
very
for sure.
deep.
It is. The video is shot in black and white mostly. The footage of the dancer, and this is again me analyzing this from a videographer perspective. People online say it's in black and white. If you watch the footage of the dancer, it looks like there's some color in that video, but it's like real low saturation. So I wouldn't say it's 100% black and white, but maybe the footage of the band is in black and white. And it is mostly footage of the band. They've got a woman who's dancing throughout, and she's not the same woman that's on the cover for the album, but they kind of use some of the same movements to tie into that image. Again, I just love this song. These guys have a lot of other great songs as well, but this one's my favorite. They also do an acoustic version of this, which you can find on YouTube. So if you listen to the original album recording of it and you want to check that acoustic version out, I highly recommend it. But again, Bones by Young Guns off their 2012 album Bones. That's my pick for this week. So,
and just a quick note, I did some quick math. We should be at about 102. I'm gonna guess 102 songs on our playlist.
I could have also just pulled up Spotify and actually I've got Spotify open with our playlist. 106 songs.
106. Darn it, my math was off by 4.
Songs.
Oh, good.
Yep, and for a total of 7 hours and 23 minutes worth of music. So, if you're driving someplace, I don't know, you could maybe make a round trip with that playlist and
still
be
hear
done with
everything.
it. So,
If anyone is
go.
listening and you take a road trip and you do this, we will guarantee you a spot as a guest on our show.
Talk about
How would we
you
verify
felt.
that?
We quiz them on all the songs. To
Oh,
make
that's
sure
true.
They listen. Yeah, that
That's
would be a
smart.
lot of work for us, though. I don't
Maybe-
know.
They can
maybe
just
a
scroll
little-
through the playlist. That's not good.
Yeah,
Maybe a little TikTok video of them just like smiling with
an
Bopping their head to
Instagram
this music,
play-by-play of each song that they're listening to as they listen to it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it needs to happen.
We do want to
We
know
know
if
you're out
somebody
there.
does. If somebody does use our playlist as a road trip playlist, we would like to hear about that. I don't know about. I don't think we can verify it, but we would like to know if you enjoyed our eclectic playlist on your road trip. So,
Matt,
with
what
that,
songs do you
Matt's
have?
pick.
So, if there's one thing I could really appreciate is that a good song doesn't necessarily mean it has to have 10 to 15 different chords. A good song doesn't necessarily mean it has to have a 210 beats per minute solo. Okay. A good song is just a good song that's catchy. Okay. And the chords I'm going to be talking about is I'm talking about A minor, I'm talking about F, I'm talking about C, and I'm talking about G. In that order, on repeat. And the song that you're going to get is Eagle Eye Cherry, Save Tonight, off the album Desireless, released on July 21st, 1997. It is a phenomenal one-hit wonder. Eagle Eye Cherry, a music video, okay, that when little Matt was watching music videos all day, came across this, and I remember it to this day because it was right after a Green Day music video that I went ahead and I watched it, and this music video it caught me off guard, but those chords on a consistent basis on rotate, not changing, same chord progression. It's phenomenal. Okay, so this song, okay, it's about the values of, how relationships are, and just pretty much what ultimate life is. Okay, so Eagle Eye Cherry, all right. So it's this guy, the song is in black and white, okay? He's actually Swedish, and he actually plays all these different types of characters, okay? He's a butcher, he's a robber, he's a truck driver, he's a busker, and he's even a homeless man. But what's great about this music video is that it's like a one camera shot. Okay, but how they do the music video is all it's him looking at the camera, but he's each individually like one of these characters, but it doesn't skip a beat. It's not like it blacks out. It's just like, say if I was the butcher, okay, and then it goes and turns around and you see the robber just came in. The next scene would be the robber got hit by a car, and guess who the robber is? It's me. I'm no longer the butcher. So it's definitely something that like he plays different characters. And again, it's not something that just kind of blacks out. It's like all one slow progressive like camera angle and whatnot. So, but this song,
So it doesn't look like there's any cuts. It's just
it literally
constantly
doesn't look like it's like a one shot.
He's every character basically.
And it's really great too, because it's like, again, you think about the camera tricks back then. How is he able to go ahead and go from a butcher to a robber, and you only have that little short period of time to go ahead and have no breaks, not even make it seem like there's any sort of like a weird cut where you could easily see it's changed. It slowly transitions into it. But this song, if you may have not, even if you didn't see the video, it's definitely one of those 90 classics. Okay. The song has been featured in multiple shows, such as, the show Felicity. Ted, we mentioned about this show, Daria. It was featured in Roswell. It was featured in Cold Case, and it was actually even featured in films such as A Lot Like Love and whatnot. So Eagle Eye Cherry, he's definitely come out with other albums, but not as notable as his album Desireless and whatnot. So that's going to be my song of the week. It's going to be Save Tonight off of the Desireless album, released in July 21, 1997.
Nice.
A true throwback.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very much so.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think we've maybe gone a little over an hour, but there's some good discussion in there. Yeah, for sure. So with that, I think we've reached the end of the show, unless you guys have anything else that you wanted to add.
Yeah. I mean, listeners out there, if, this is definitely a great topic. And again, thank everyone for reaching out to us. Again, special thanks to Tim, who's a consistent caller with us and a consistent, do follower. And yes, that's Disordered Opinion for short. Disordered Opinion follower went up. But, this is, music videos. I'm sure there's someone out there that pretty much said, hey, why haven't you guys talked about this? Well, that's what the show is about. We want to hear your opinion. We want to hear about what you think. Is there a video out there that you feel like is worth talking and whatnot? Reach out to us. There's plenty of ways to reach out to us.
That's right. You can. Sorry, I didn't know if you were.
I brain farted on that one. I'm sorry.
I thought we were past the blanket out on the email.
Well,
right.
you could reach us on social media platforms like Anchor FM. Okay, you could even reach out to us on a voicemail. You could even reach out to us on an email, distortedopinionshow@gmail.com.
All right, he got the email address. The Anchor URL, if you are not familiar with it at this point, anchor.fm/distortedopinions, and definitely leave us a voicemail. Yep. Tim's been utilizing that feature a lot. You can find the links to our social media platforms. You can find some of the places that we're available in audio only format. Send us an email at that email address, distortedopinionshow@gmail.com. Lots of ways to get a hold of us. So let us know. Very much so.
In our digital girlfriend Alexa can even find us for you too. All you have to do is just go Alexa, search Distorted Opinions.
Play Distorted Opinions.
Or place. Yeah, play our show. Play our show.
On that note, I think we're done.
I think so. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week, and we will see you next week with a new episode.
Time after time.